So the Row has done it again. Just like their Margot bag, they have come out with a ultra expensive item that is also almost sold out pretty much everywhere. But I happen to have a pair of the Row's Eglitta jeans. That's at least how I would say it. It's spelled Eglitta. If you're new here, I'm Tasha Julie and I'm an LA-based fashion stylist. They are $750 without tax. In my area, I bought these down at the Melrose store, so the applicable tax for me made these $794. I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion of pros and cons so that you can make the assessment for yourself if you need these very expensive jeans. And I also want to say, when I say need, nobody needs a pair of almost $800 jeans. So these are definitely a want type of need. So one of the questions I would start out by saying is, should you afford this? So while you ponder that, let's get into the details of these jeans and their fine print and some of the things that you may want to know if you are considering buying these. All right, so in my mind, the easiest way to structure this video, I'm going to start out by providing you guys the specific details. I'm going to read to you the fine print. I want to be as informative as possible and I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm going to give you guys the exact measurements and all the details they provide. And I'm also going to insert some close-up clips of the fine details that you may be interested in seeing that you kind of can't really see as well on most of the websites. I will insert those clips as I give you guys these details. So they do tell us that these measurements were all taken from a size 29, and they start out by providing us with the inseam, which is 31.5, which I think is a little bit long for the average woman. So you'll have to decide on your own if paying another $50-ish, that's at least what it costs in my area to have jeans hemmed. So if you want to get these and you know they're going to be too long for you. So for the average woman, especially in my experience as a stylist, I think this is going to be a little bit long, especially given the idea behind these jeans being kind of cool, effortless, minimalist, not trying too hard. So unless you intended to wear them with heels all the time, which I again don't really think is the way that they were intended to be worn, then that could work for you. But the inseam does seem a little bit long. And I can also tell you that after having already tried them on, spoiler alert, that they run extremely large. We'll talk a little bit more about that in specific when we insert the try-on clips. But moving on into the rest of the measurements, they have a 22-inch leg opening, which is considered a wide leg, again, lending to their kind of cool girl, laid back, slouchy vibe. And then as far as the rise in the front, it is 11.5. So the rise is measured from the base of the crotch of the jean and goes up to the top of the waist. So if you're curious about that, it hit me just below my belly button. So I would consider this to be a mid-ish rise. I would not say they're high rise. I wouldn't say that they were like very low rise either. All right, so the rest of the stats on these jeans is they are a zip fly. They are 5-pocket styling, 100% cotton, and they are made in Italy, and they are dry clean only, which we will talk more about that when I give you my thoughts on the pros and cons of these jeans. But that's it for the specific stats, details, and close-ups of the jeans. So let's hop into a try-on and talk about their pros and cons. All right, so let's get these expensive jeans onto our body and insert the try-on clips while we talk a little bit more about the specifics of these jeans. I did try these on in 3 different ways so you guys could get the best assessment of how they look. So first up, they're on just completely raw. I did leave the shirt untucked and I have to lift it up a little bit so you guys can see the waistband and the full details of the jeans and get a really good idea of how they fit. So that is why you are seeing some of my tummy, please pardon me. And then I decided to tuck it in so you guys could get a feel for how that looked. And then later on in the video, I did put them on with a belt because they are definitely way too big. So that's the first thing I want to say about these jeans is the sizing is going to be an issue for some people. So in consideration of if you want to buy these jeans, if you are very petite and you need a pair of jeans that run smaller than a true 26. So here's the specifics on these jeans. I'm wearing a size 24 and I can tell you that they are not at all true to size because of their kind of slouchy, cool girl feel. They are going to run way too large for some people, so that's definitely a consideration. And if that is you, if you are on the petite side, these are probably not going to be the best thing for you, as you can see in the video. If I were to really wear these, I would probably have to have had them altered in the waist as well as the length. So that is food for thought around the sizing of these because they are so oversized. And in my research for this video, I didn't see them running smaller than a 24. So that's the smallest size available. And again, it is more like a 26. So if you're going to need a pair of jeans that are smaller than that, these are probably not going to be the right thing for you. So here they are belted, and you guys can get a better feel of how they might look if they were a little bit smaller or a little bit more true to size. So I think that they're still too oversized to keep in this condition, so I would definitely get them altered, but this is just the best I can do with the way that the sizing ran for me. So belted gives you guys the best idea of how they would look if they fit a little bit more accurately for me. So those are all things to consider if you are thinking of buying these jeans. All right, I feel like we were all really used to seeing outfit checks in the mirror like this, so I wanted to include this phone clip that gives pretty much the most accurate kind of outfit check and really shows these jeans and what they actually look like. And again, I do know they're too long for me, but I wanted to film them in their raw state so that you all could get an accurate depiction of my thoughts on these jeans. So let's jump straight into my pros or the positives on these jeans. So I really love the wash. I think it's right kind of in the middle of like a faded, a little bit too casual, and also like a darker wash. So it's like a nice mid-tone blue, which I think is really cool. And then the other thing I liked about these is that there wasn't any major distressing or like giant obvious kind of bleach patterns or anything that are going to look outdated, which if you guys have watched any of my other videos on jeans, you know that I do not love any major kind of the moment details on jeans, especially if they're very expensive, because they're not going to give you that longevity. So these definitely foot the bill on that. They're not going to look dated in a year or two. So I think that that's definitely one of the positive aspects of the jeans. And then some of the other things that I really thought were cool were the fine details. Like I really loved the way that the zipper is a little bit different. Not that anyone's gonna see that besides you, but it's kind of like having on nice lingerie under your clothes and you know that it's like cute and fancy. So I think that that is another fun detail. And I also think that the pocket placement and sizing is spot on, so you're not going to have any weird details, which again I've talked about in some of my other jeans videos. If you haven't seen it, I will insert the how to shop for jeans up here. So that's also one of the things that I talk about in that are the pocket details, which I think kind of escapes a lot of people when they're shopping for jeans and can be a little bit more difficult to do online. So pocket placement, if they're too low or if the pocket's too big, too small, or if there's any weird like rhinestone details or anything on them, that's just not going to be it. It's not going to work for you long term. And again, with an almost $800 price tag, I'm going to need longevity. I'm going to need to be able to wear these and have them look good and not outdated or weird, or you can tell what era they came from. So I think that's another pro for these jeans. Okay, so let's talk cons about these jeans. I think the first one is glaringly obvious, the overall price tag. These are very pricey. So that to me is the first con, and I have a finance background. So whenever I'm considering something that is on the pricier side, I like to weigh in a couple of things. So first of all, is it above or below 1% of your gross annual income? They say if it is, that you're supposed to wait 3 days before making the purchase. So you're kind of supposed to let it marinate or sleep on it. And then the other thing that I would say as far as the price measurement on these jeans is that if you were to invest the $794 with an assumed 6% interest, you would have $945 after 3 years. So if that helps to kind of paint the picture into like, would I want to do something else with this money? That's food for thought. And then the other cons for me are going to be the overall fit. The fact that these run extremely oversized. If you're going to need something smaller than a true 26, these are probably not going to work for you. If you really love the Row and you still want to get them, you may have to invest even more money into having to get them altered, not only in the length, which I again do think is too long for the average woman, and again this oversized kind of cool girl laid back fit doesn't really lend itself to wearing them with heels all the time. So the length and overall like oversizedness of them is a con in my book. The other major con, which the Kate jeans had as well, I just could not believe when I first read this on the Kate instructions. If you missed it, that's this video. But these jeans also insist that you need to dry clean only. And for something that cost almost $800, I'm probably not going to go against what they tell me and then ruin them. But at the same time, they're jeans. I need to be able to throw them in the washing machine. I need ease of use around jeans or my everyday sort of clothing. I'm okay with a nicer detergent, cold water, and not putting them in the dryer. Like, that's as bougie as I can get with my laundry. But I do not want a pair of jeans that I have to live in fear of ruining if they somehow end up in the wash, or that I have to babysit and take to the dry cleaners all the time. That's just not convenient for me. So that was also a major con. With that being said, I think there are plenty of like slouchy, minimalistic kind of cool girl jeans out there at a much, much lower price tag. In my opinion, you can get a wonderful pair of jeans for around $100. You can get a really fantastic pair of jeans for around $200. I will link a few of my favorite pairs that have a similar like vibe, wash, and kind of feel to them in the description box below. So as promised, I'm going to give you guys my yes or no definitive answer on these jeans. For myself, it's going to be a no. I think that I do not need these jeans. They weren't it for me considering the price, the fit. If I were to get them altered in a way that they were more flattering for me, and the fact that they have to be dry cleaned all the time, which is just something I don't want to do, for me, it's a solid no. I do not need these jeans. If you may need these jeans, which again, nobody needs a pair of $800 jeans. This is a want kind of need. But if you are considering these jeans, do look at the sizing very, very closely. I would highly recommend you try them on in person and just kind of get a better feel for how they work on you. If they are going to be too oversized, then it's probably a no for you as well. And then the major consideration of price, does this work for you in your budget? And then also the consideration of the care, is that something that you're going to want to put up with? So they could be a yes for you, but these are all things for you to weigh out in your personal picture. And then lastly, I know there are a lot of diehard Row fans out there, and I think that if that is you, you may love these. And the last consideration I would say is if you are a luxury item status girly, these are probably also not going to be for you. If you're the kind of person who spends $800 on a pair of jeans and you want everybody to know that this is the status item that you've paid for, I would say that's also going to make these a no for you, because there's no real way to tell that these are the Row, which is something I appreciate from the Row. They are considered quiet luxury. I am okay with luxury items not being an in-your-face status symbol, but if that's something that you want, that's another reason these may not be for you. So those are all my thoughts on these very, very expensive jeans. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching.